Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss one of the very critical steps of our interview round, and that is group discussions. And group discussions is something through which interviewer keep on checking on our various skills. So the topic name is cracking group discussions. But before we start, let me give a brief introduction about myself. My name is Kriti Singh, and I'm working as a soft skills trainer with Department of Career Planning and Development in Chandigarh University. So students, when we talk about group discussion, it's very necessary that we should have some effective skills with ourselves, and we should be aware of the same. Not only awareness is required. In fact, when we are actually participating in group discussions, all those skills should be reflected in our behavior, in our communication. So to start with this topic, first of all, I would like to share with you what are the do's that need to be kept in mind when we are actually participating or going to go for a group discussion round. So the do's that we should focus on are speak appropriate to the issue. So when we say speak appropriate to the issue, it's very important that whatever the topic has been assigned by the moderator or interviewer, then whatever statement and opinion we are sharing in that group discussion, it should be relevant to the topic. And the points that have been made by us, they should be original. And if we can give a valid example or some statistical data related to the statement made, then actually it gives a weightage to the point and to the idea that have been shared during the group discussion. Listen to the other participants actively and carefully. Yes, of course, this is one of the very sensitive skills that every individual should carry. Sometimes what happens that we are very much well versed with the knowledge of the topic that has been assigned, and we are very anxious and we are so curious to share our points that we never listen to others. But it's important, please keep yourself calm and relaxed at that time. Let the other participant or the other member finish his or her point and then share your idea. And the another benefit that you can actually get if you will actively listen, sometimes it happens that we have a limited information about the topic. But if we are listening to the other people or other members very carefully, then it can be the possibility that from one point that has been made by some other member, we may create another important opinion related to the topic and can continue our participation in the group discussion even when our ideas were limited to that topic. Make only accurate statements. The statements that have been shared by you are accurate. And modulation is very important. So when we talk modulation, not only in face-to-face group discussions, in fact, these days when group discussions are happening on a virtual or online platform, your volume, your pitch, and your tone plays an important role. So whenever you are expressing or you are making a statement, that there is always one particular idea or a word which is more important in that sentence, then if you will put a valid emphasis to the word, then the interviewer can hear or listen that what actually you want to express. Try to get your turn. Yes, of course. Sometimes we feel shy and we don't feel comfortable, that we feel nervous that whether we participate or not. And sometimes other members are so much aggressive with their participation that we try our level best to participate, but we are not getting a chance. But remember, students, here you need to use your effective analytical, your active skills and attentive skills that you can say, excuse me, I would like to share my idea or my opinion related to the topic. May I? So in this way, you need to ensure that you should make your turn and you should make your entry. Be an active and dynamic participant by listening. As I have already shared with you, that is, of course, active listening plays an important role. Yes, the most important thing, confidence. And when we talk about confidence, confidence should not only reflect in your voice. In fact, confidence should reflect in your body language, the way you are giving an expressions on your face, and the calmness that can be heard by any interviewer when you are making your statement. Don't be so anxious and don't be very fast when you are making your point, just because that you want to finish your point. No. Just be very much confident and relax and calmly share your point. So by modulating your pitch and by modulating your tone, and your volume should be perfect. All these collectively give a message to the interviewer and the moderator that you are highly confident. As I have shared with you all the do's, but yes, of course, there are some don'ts that we all need to be take care of, and these don'ts should be taken care in such a manner that we should not use when we are participating. So what are those don'ts? being shy, nervous, keeping isolated from group discussion. Sometimes some participants are very shy, and even when they are aware of the topic, they don't participate just because they are shy or nervous. Don't do this to yourself. Ignore your nervousness and communicate this information to yourself before entering into group discussion that you have to crack this so that you will be able to grab that job opportunity for yourself. And when I say keeping isolated, sometimes few members, you know what they do? They always keep themselves isolated. They make their point and they sit back. They don't participate. They don't share the ideas, or they don't carefully listen and make another counter ideas on the points that have been made by the other members. So this kind of a behavior actually give an indirect message to the moderator that you are not a good team player. So please don't be isolated. In fact, be a participative, and it should look like as you are a member of that group and you all are collectively getting along as a group. Then interrupt another participant before his or her argument is over. Never do that. I know it happens that we are very much confident with the information that we want to share, and we really want to make our point and we want to show it to the moderator and interviewer that yes, of course, I am a well prepared and I'm a very confident individual. But if you will show so much of hurry in your body language and you don't allow others to complete their ideas or their opinions, then it looks that you don't have that capability to create an effective interpersonal relationships. Because in interpersonal relationships, you need to hear others, you need to understand other opinions. And don't change opinions if you have stated the same in the beginning. Please ensure if you have 6 opinions or 6 ideas, valid ideas related to the topic, don't explain or don't share all the ideas and points in one go. First you share first 2 points, let the other participate, and then again share your another 2 points, then again let the others participate, and then again cover your remaining points. The benefit of doing this behavior or carrying this behavior with yourself is that it shows that you are continuously being a participative individual in a group discussion. If you will discuss all the points in one go, then you will sit idle and you will sit quiet and you will start feeling anxious, nervous. Oh my God, I don't have any other point to make. What should I do? I will lose my... So all these thoughts start coming up in your brain or in your mind, and it will make you nervous and you may lose your group discussion round. Don't make fun of any participant. If any argument, if any opinion that has been shared by the member and you're not liking or you're finding it a very funny, hold your emotions. Don't show that. Be very much professional, because these kind of behaviors, these kind of instances in the group discussion actually give a message or give this information to the moderator that how professional and how responsible you are. Engage yourself. Repeat and use irrelevant material. Please don't use irrelevant material. And yes, of course, never focus on moderator. Whenever we are involved in a group discussion, we need to ensure that we should be interacting with the members of the group. In fact, we should not look at the moderator, because if we'll keep on interacting with the moderator, we'll look at the moderator, then it shows that you are only interacting or participating in a group discussion with the moderator, not the other members. So please focus on the members of the group, not on the moderator. So as I have done with the don'ts, now let's have a look at that. GD is not an argument. Sometimes we really get aggressive with our point. And if any other member try to say that your point or your opinion is not correct, then we start involving into an aggressive argument. And this gives a clear message that you are actually moving your GD to debate. Remember, students, debate is something where one team may talk about the positives and other team may talk about the negatives. But this is a group discussion. And in group discussion, no arguments are required. Yes, of course, sometimes it happens that the opinion that has been shared by the other member doesn't sound relevant to us. Then we can simply say, I understand that you have shared this idea. Very thankful to you on sharing this opinion of yours. But my opinion is a little different from yours. That is the way. Instead of getting involved into an argument, you need to give an acknowledgement to the other's opinion and then share your opinion, which is not matching, but in fact opposite to that opinion. So this shows that how professional you are. Now, the next is what kind of skills we require to crack a GD. When we talk about skills, the very first skill, day in, day out, we keep on practicing our communication skills. But what all points are to be covered in communication skill? The first point is make your sentence be very concise and precise. When you are making a statement or a sentence, it should not be too lengthy and too precise. It should be perfect and with the relevant information. That's the way when you are making these statements. And the second thing, if possible, try to use the quotations related to the topic. This gives a information to the moderator that yes, of course, you're a person who always keep yourself connected with the current affairs or maybe with the abstract kind of topic, and you're in habit of reading things related to the current affairs and to improve your awareness and general knowledge. Then the next point is convey your thoughts convincingly before a group of people. So when you are making a statement, because somewhere this statement carry that information that you have in your thoughts, and you have converted those thoughts into a form of a statement. And when that statement has been shared by you, it should not that you yourself sounds doubtful about your statement. You should sound confident and you should convincingly share your idea and your thoughts. Second thing is the team skills. When I say team skills, then it means that you need to get along with the other team members during that group discussion. You need to you need to accept the others' opinions also. You need to share your opinions, always accept other viewpoints, and also handle conflicts. If any other individual or another member of the group is showing disagreement to your statement, then okay, don't get aggressive. Let be calm. It's his viewpoint. Maybe he or she is not comfortable with your idea, but doesn't mean that you start argumenting with that particular participant. Next is be an active listener. We have already shared that active listening is very, very important. Next, skills that require analytical skills. Analytical skills plays a very important role when it comes you have to participate in the abstract GD. So when I say abstract group discussion, means where you need to think out of the box. Look at the topic from the different perspectives. There you need to think out of the box. Then comes provide structure to your thought process. And yes, of course, awareness and general knowledge is very important. So when we say awareness and general knowledge, sometimes we are really keen to share these statistics related to the topic. But students, when you are sharing these statistics, you need to share that either you have read it on some of the articles on internet, or maybe you must have got that information by reading some editorial. Then you should be aware of at least you should be aware of the name of the newspaper in which you have read that editorial. Even if you are not aware about the exact date, at least you should be aware about the month in which you have read and in which newspaper you have read that information. Now, once these all skills have been inculcated in you, and then it doesn't mean that you need to just read them. You need to practice them and you need to reflect them in your behavior when you are participating in a group discussion. So how can you ensure that your participation should look effective? So the first thing is you need to give a holistic view. Always avoid the statement, I wholeheartedly support the topic or I completely disagree with the topic. In fact, you will say, I understand or I agree. To some extent, I agree to the opinion shared by a member, but at the same time, I have a different opinion. Or you can say, there are points in favor and against the topic. So I would like to share one point in favor of this topic. That's the way you can start it. Sometimes few members have a very soft voice. Now, when you have a very soft voice and you are aware that your volume is very low, if you will speak so softly, then you need to increase or raise your volume of voice at such a level that it should not look like as if you are shouting. And sometimes in such situation, there are situations where two members are discussing on one point and you try to make your point. Please wait a minute. Let that two individuals finish up with their ideas and then make your point. Why? Because your voice is soft. So it is important that the moderator and interviewer can hear you. So if in case when those two members are interacting with each other, at that time if you will share your point, can be the chances then moderator may not listen you carefully and he or she make a perception that this individual has not participated. So be very much careful about this point if in case your voice is soft. If you are interrupted while discussing your point, now sometimes it happens that some other members are really curious or anxious or they are not interested to hear anybody and they try to cut you down or they ask you to stop down with your ideas. Then you can say, excuse me, let me finish up with my idea or my opinion, then you can share your idea. That's the way. But don't do this. No, 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 let me participate first. That's the incorrect way of communication. In fact, at that time, when anybody is anybody is interrupting you in between, then you take a little pause and will say, just a minute, let me finish with my idea. That's the way to ensure that if somebody is interrupting in between you when you are sharing your idea, then you can give this message to the other individual in a very soft manner, and it will actually ensure that your voice should be calm and relaxed. Next topic that you need to focus on, the steps that are required to crack your factual and abstract group discussion. So when I say cracking factual and abstract group discussion, both are two different group discussions. So don't mix up with the factual means current affair group discussion and abstract reading. So we need to ensure it means if there are two different things, then the steps are also different. Let's have a look at the steps of a factual topics. So when we say factual topics, try to explore the history associated with the topic. So when I say history associated with the topic, it is only possible, students, if on a regular basis you keep on reading newspapers, you keep on checking the media channel where the news have been flashed, or even you create a habit of reading editorials so that you should be well connected with the world, and whatever changes are coming up, you should be aware of the same. Discuss the pros and cons of the topic. It looks nice if you will show a balanced approach towards the topic. Don't only talk about the positives and don't always talk about the negatives. It has been suggested because when you talk about the positives and negatives in a balanced manner, it gives a message to the moderator or to the interviewer that you are a kind of a person who always look at the both sides of the coin. So this shows that whenever you are making any decision, whenever you are participating in any forum, then you will not only look at the one aspect, in fact you will look at all the aspects of that topic. And next comes, try to add relevant examples. As I have already mentioned, that it is required that there should be a weightage being provided to your statement. So how you can provide the weightage to your statement? One is either you share the statistical or the facts and figures related to that topic or statement made by you, or you can share some relevant example, and it will be fantastic if you will share a real life example during that statement when you are making. Now, let's have a look at that. What are steps you need to take care of if the interviewer has shared with you abstract topic? So what idea you can, first of all, creative and lateral thinking. So how will you work on this? Now, these days, whenever you are working, whenever you are studying in your degree, then we keep on participating in various activities, projects, where we keep on using different kind of creativity and we keep on exploring creativity. So remember, students, you need to sharpen this creativity and lateral thinking of skills of yours. Because if you are sharpen this, believe me, you will be easily able to crack abstract topic GD, and it will be a cakewalk for you. The next point, try to link the topic with factual issues. Don't be too philosophical. Remember, sometimes it happens that we get too much emotional and too much philosophical with the topic. It sounds like as if you are going to narrate some philosophical story, and the moderator and the interviewer will think that as if you are not a person who believes in the reality. You need to in fact connect the topic with the real situation so that it gives an impact to your statements. Then try to understand and develop others' concepts. If somebody has shared some concept, and if your creativity and lateral skills are really well polished and well practiced by you, then only you will be able to do this and you will be able to develop your concepts. Always about, as I have already shared with you, that please don't be philosophical. And now let's have a look at that. How to enter and sustain in a GD. Now there is a challenge. Every time, whenever the group discussion starts, we easily enter into a group discussion. Because in the beginning, we have 3-4 ideas with ourselves. And we quickly want to share it with you just to show to the other member, yes, of course, I have the information related to the group discussion. And by doing this, we are trying to make our numbers. We are trying to make a communication, indirect communication to the interviewer and moderator. Let's see, I know the information related to the topic. But after a few minutes, when you are finished with the statements, then what will happen? Then you sit quiet. Then you try to think, what should I do? So let's have a look at that. How you will enter and how you will sustain in the group discussion. What are the entry strategies? Initiate the participation with a question. You can ask. So, if this X topic is being provided to us, I would like to understand that how this topic is going to help the Indian economy. For example, recently national education policy has been launched, and suppose you will get the same topic in the group discussion. You can say, so today let us discuss that how this national education policy is going to contribute to our nation's education system effectively. That is the way to start with the topic. Enter after a person has made his point. If any other individual is starting up, let him or her start. Don't interrupt him in between. When that individual is finished with his point, and if your point is well connected with his idea, then you can add on with that point. In addition to this, I am totally agree with this idea that has been shared by my fellow member, and I would like to add to this point, and then you put your idea in front of the interviewer. Enter with the supportive statement. Always use some supportive statement to the point that you are going to make. Now, let's have a look at that. How will you sustain? Now, you have made the entry by a fantastic manner, either by using a question concept or by adding a supportive statement. Now, how will you ensure that you will sustain in a GD? Make an eye contact and gestures. Students, is very important. These days, when virtual online group discussions are happening, most of the time students either look at the image that may be image of the person that may be reflecting either at the left bottom left or the top left or the top right or the bottom right corner of the computer screen. Please don't look at that particular image. When you are giving an online group discussion, your eye contact should be well matched with the camera. You should not lose your eye contact with your camera, and consider that camera as your group member with whom you are interacting. And yes, of course, your gestures play an important role. But hold for a minute. I'm going to share with you gestures after finishing up with this in more detail. Structure your thoughts. You need to ensure that when you are sharing your ideas, then it should be properly well structured, grammatically correct, and you should be effectively and you should use a valid, relevant, and a more effective vocabulary so that it looks that you are very good at vocabulary, and it also gives some information that your communication is really a polished communication. Then comes the diplomatic and counter argumentation and voice modulation. Students, when we are participating in an online group discussion, our voice modulation plays a very important role. Because no doubt, our images are there on the screen, but still, your voice plays a major role in online group discussion. So please ensure you should modulate your voice only at that point when it is required. Don't keep on modulating your voice again and again. It starts looking monotonous, and you will lose the beauty of your communication skills. Now, how will you summarize why this is important? Conclusion in a group discussion plays an important role. And remember one thing, every group discussion has to be concluded. You cannot leave the group discussion in between. So let's have a look at that. What are those techniques that you need to keep in mind? What are the important points? Avoid raising points. Always remember, when you are concluding, then you should not raise any new point during the conclusion. And don't only cover your viewpoint. If you have taken the initiative to conclude the group discussion, then it is your responsibility that you cover all the important points that have been shared in the group discussion by all the members of the group. And don't be too lengthy, because summarization means it should be crisp, it should be brief, it should be concise. And incorporate all the important points as I have already shared, and do not add anything once the GD has been summarized. After closing and after concluding the group discussion, don't add any other information into it, so that it should look that you are doing it in a proper manner and completing it. Now, as I have told you, the gestures and body language is very important. So I'm going to share with you, first thing that you need to keep your mind is the first impression. So how can you make the first impression? The first impression, obviously, your non-verbal communication is your dress. So whenever you are dressing for any interview, obviously you need to wear a formal dress. Just of course, sometimes we take it very casual when we have to participate in online group discussion. Don't forget, students, interviewers carry a very good professional experience with themselves, and even in the camera screen they can make out whether you are well dressed or not. So please ensure that you should be dressed, you should be well groomed, and your clothes should be properly pressed. You should have a proper matching tie, and it should give a message. You should be well groomed, gives a message that you are actually entrusted to give your group discussion round in a very professional manner. Second step is your postures. Very important. Why these postures are important? These postures are not only important in face-to-face group discussion. In fact, it is equally important in online group discussion. Because in online group discussion, sometimes it happens, we sit like this and then we sit more like this and then we again go back. This gives a message that you don't have a control on your body language. Either your anxiety is on a very high side or maybe you're nervous. So please, whenever you are participating in online group discussion or either face-to-face group discussion, have a proper body language. Sit up straight. And even the camera of your laptop should be on the 90-degree angle. It should not be slanting at 60-degree angle so that your entire image that is coming on the camera it will not look relevant or it will not look professional. Don't point out anybody. Remember, whenever you have to address any individual, keep your hand open and you should address the person like this, but don't point at any other person. Don't be so droopy. Don't droop up your shoulders. Don't cross your arms. Always remember, the best posture for face-to-face group discussion is to keep your palms on your laps. Whenever you have to make a point, raise your hands, move your hands, and then come back and relax your hands on your laps. That's the way you need to keep your body language. And then comes no cross leg. And yes, of course, sometimes people have a habit of shaking their legs and they think in online group discussion it is not visible. Remember, if you are shaking your leg, your upper body is also shaking and it is easily visible on camera also. Then comes your gestures. So when we say gestures, sometimes we keep on fidgeting with the pen in our hand and we keep on rubbing our nose and then we keep on doing like this and then we keep on doing neck scratching. All this gives a message that you are either not interested in the group discussion or maybe you're not confident. So please don't use such kind of a body language gestures which gives a message to the interviewer that you are highly unprofessional. Stop fidgeting. People have a very bad habit of if you are in a habit of fidgeting, don't hold any object in your hand. Please keep your hands free and remember that you need to have a full control on your hand movements also. Don't do excessive nodding. If you are listening to someone's point, you need not to keep on moving your head like this. You can address his idea with a message of one nod and then can hold your nodding. Don't keep on nodding excessively. Then comes the facial expressions. So when I say facial expressions, I have already shared with you, eye contact is very important. If it is face-to-face group discussion, you should make an eye contact with the moderator. No, never. You should make an eye contact with your group members. And your expressions should match with what statement you are making. Sometimes it happens, our expressions are negative, our statement is positive. An interviewer and moderator is unable to make out. Are we making a positive statement or a negative statement? So please ensure your expressions should definitely match with what communication or what statement you are making. Smile confidently. Don't smile like ha 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 ha. That's not the way. Smile means that you need to carry a little smile on your face so that you look pleasant. You look that yes, of course, you are interested and you are actively participating in the group discussion. And at the end, I will say, as I have already shared with you the do's and don'ts and how to enter into the group discussion, how to sustain in the group discussion. All these aspects are very, very important for you when you are going for your group discussion round. But students, this doesn't mean that this theoretical class will make you learn all these skills. You need to practice. You need to actually inculcate all these skills in your behavior so that you can easily crack the group discussion and grab the right job opportunity for yourself. Thank you, students. Have a nice day. Take care of yourself.